The atmosphere around the New England Patriots during this week has felt different in a way that is hard to ignore. From the moment the team arrived and began its routine leading up to Super Bowl Sunday, the energy coming from the players has been noticeably lighter, more relaxed, but still intensely focused. You can sense it in the way they answer questions, in how they move around each other, and in the small interactions that happen away from the cameras. This group understands the magnitude of the moment, but they are not carrying it like a burden. Instead, they seem to be embracing it as an opportunity they have worked their entire lives to reach. One of the clearest impressions from being around the players is how much they genuinely enjoy being here. This is not the stiff, all-business environment that sometimes surrounds teams at this stage. Compared to previous Super Bowl appearances years ago, when everything felt strictly professional and almost mechanical, this time there is more laughter, more openness, and a sense that the players are allowing themselves to experience the moment. It is still business, no doubt about that, but it is business mixed with joy, confidence, and trust in one another. Drake May, in particular, has drawn a lot of attention, and not just because of his role on the field. Watching him at the podium, you see a quarterback who is comfortable in his own skin. He can talk about football with clarity and confidence, then turn around and answer lighthearted questions without losing his composure. That balance says a lot about where he is mentally. Of course, the main topic surrounding him has been his shoulder, something that has been discussed relentlessly day after day. When he addressed it, there was no hesitation. He made it clear that he feels strong, that he has been able to throw more than he did the previous week, and that missing a practice did not set him back in any significant way. Everything about his body language suggested confidence rather than concern. The Patriots even held an additional practice session, giving Drake May the chance to get more reps and test himself physically. According to him, the shoulder responded well, and he feels ready. There was no ambiguity in his words when he talked about playing on Super Bowl Sunday. He expects to be out there, fully prepared, doing what he has done all season. Seeing footage of him traveling, carrying his gear without limitation, only reinforced the idea that this is not something weighing heavily on his mind. He looks like a quarterback who trusts his preparation and his health. Another figure who stood out during the media availability was Milton Williams. His presence carries a different kind of weight, the kind that comes from experience. Having already been to multiple Super Bowls in a relatively short span of seasons, he understands exactly what this stage demands. When he speaks, younger players listen, because he has lived both extremes. He has felt the overwhelming joy of winning at the highest level, and he has also experienced the disappointment that comes with falling short when everything is on the line. Williams spoke openly about how his mindset has evolved. In previous years, emotions came pouring out, whether in victory or defeat. This time, after the Patriots secured the conference championship, his reaction was far more controlled. There was a brief moment to appreciate what had been accomplished, but after that, his focus shifted immediately to what comes next. For him, this Super Bowl is not about soaking in the attention or reliving past emotions. It is about execution, leadership, and making sure the team is mentally prepared for every situation that could arise. That leadership has been invaluable inside the locker room. Players gravitate toward him because he understands how quickly moments can swing in a game like this. He talks about staying steady, about not getting too high or too low, and about keeping everyone locked into the details. When a team has someone like that anchoring the mindset, it shows in how composed the group appears as a whole. Beyond the headline names, conversations with other players revealed a consistent theme of growth and self-awareness. Drake May, for example, also discussed how he has learned to better balance when to run and when to stay in the pocket. These are the kinds of decisions that often separate good quarterbacks from great ones, especially on the biggest stage. His answers showed that he is thinking the game at a deeper level now, understanding situational football rather than relying purely on instinct. There were also moments that highlighted the personal journeys of players who are not always in the spotlight. EFF Chisholm's path through off-season workouts, training camp, and the grind of the preseason came up in conversation, and you could hear the pride in his voice. For him, reaching this point is not just about one game, but about proving to himself that the work was worth it. When comparisons to past Patriots legends were mentioned, he reacted with excitement, but also humility, making it clear that while he respects those who came before him, His focus is on becoming the best version of himself. Ramondre Stevenson's confidence has also been impossible to miss. Early in the season, mistakes tested him, particularly during the opening weeks when ball security became an issue. Instead of letting that define him, he leaned into the work, adjusted his approach, and gradually returned to the form that once made him one of the most effective runners in the league. Now, heading into the Super Bowl, he carries himself like a player who believes this moment is made for him. His running style looks decisive again, and there is a sense that he feels ready to deliver when it matters most. Discussions about the game itself naturally turn toward strategy, especially on the defensive side. Stopping the run has been emphasized repeatedly, not as a cliché, but as a genuine priority. The Patriots understand that controlling the line of scrimmage can dictate the flow of the game. Forcing the opponent into obvious passing situations creates opportunities, but only if everyone executes their assignment with discipline. Veterans talked about nerves being inevitable, especially early on, but also about how quickly those nerves fade once the first hits are exchanged and the rhythm of the game takes over. What stands out most is the emphasis on brotherhood. Players consistently mentioned leaning on the teammate next to them, trusting the relationships built over the course of the season. They acknowledged that not every moment will go their way, that adversity is guaranteed in a game of this magnitude. The difference, in their eyes, is how quickly you respond. Bounce back, reset, and keep attacking. That mentality has been tested throughout the year, and they believe it has prepared them for this exact scenario. For many of these players, reaching the Super Bowl is the realization of a childhood dream. They talked about imagining this stage when they were kids, reenacting introductions, picturing themselves under the brightest lights. Now that it is real, the feeling is surreal, but it is not overwhelming. Instead, it seems to fuel them. They are aware of the history of the organization, of what winning looks like in New England, and of the standard that has been set long before they arrived. That standard is reinforced daily by the culture inside the building. Players describe an environment where they feel believed in, where their strengths are recognized, and where there is a clear plan for how they fit into the bigger picture. Confidence, for many of them, has been present all season, even through struggles. Carrying a chip on their shoulder, trusting their ability, and staying patient have all contributed to the sense that things are coming together at the right time. As the week continues and preparation intensifies, the focus remains sharp. Practices, meetings, and media responsibilities all blend together, but the players seem grounded. They talk about execution, about making plays when opportunities present themselves, and about staying true to who they are as a team. There is excitement, there is pride, and there is belief, all coexisting without overshadowing the task ahead. As more conversations unfolded throughout the day, it became clear that this Patriots group is deeply connected by something beyond schemes and playbooks. When players spoke about their motivations, the answers consistently drifted toward family, personal growth, and the people who helped shape them. One moment that captured this was when a player reflected on who his hero was, choosing not a famous athlete or public figure, but his older brothers. He talked about growing up as the youngest, always chasing after them, learning by watching how they lived their lives and pursued their own passions. That mindset of chasing, learning, and carving out his own path mirrors the journey many players on this roster have taken to reach this stage. Health and preparation have also been recurring themes, especially as the week progresses. Several players emphasized how intentional they have been about doing everything required to be ready, trusting the process laid out by the training staff, and taking things one day at a time. There is a strong sense of appreciation for an organization that prioritizes player well-being while still demanding excellence. The confidence in being physically ready is matched by a calm mental approach, knowing that preparation has been thorough and that each day builds toward the next opportunity to improve. Defensively, the conversations shifted toward accountability and discipline. Stopping the run was not discussed as just a talking point, but as a collective responsibility that requires all 11 players to be locked in. The idea is simple in theory, but demanding in execution. Win your matchup, force predictable situations, and capitalize when chances arise. Players acknowledge that nerves will exist early, but they also stress that once the game settles into its flow, instinct and trust take over. At that point, It becomes about doing your job at a high level and relying on the teammates who have been beside you all season. What stands out is how openly players talk about adversity. They do not shy away from moments where things did not go their way earlier in the season or even within individual games. Instead, those moments are framed as lessons. One player spoke about throwing a costly interception in a road game earlier in the year and how the offense responded immediately on the next drive. That ability to bounce back, to stay aggressive rather than cautious, has become part of the team's identity. Mistakes are acknowledged, corrected, and then left behind. There is also a strong sense of reverence for those who came before. Veterans who once wore the Patriots uniform and succeeded on this same stage are frequently referenced as examples, not idols to be copied exactly, but standards to be understood. Players talk about watching film, studying how those teams operated, and then applying those lessons in a way that fits who they are today. The message is clear that respect for history does not mean living in it. The goal is to honor it by building something authentic in the present. Confidence is another word that keeps resurfacing, particularly among players who faced criticism earlier in the season. Instead of allowing outside noise to dictate their mindset, they leaned into self-belief. Carrying a chip on their shoulder became fuel rather than pressure. As the season progressed, that confidence began to show more consistently on the field, and now, heading into the Super Bowl, it feels solidified. Players speak with conviction about what they can do and how they can impact the game. Leadership within the locker room has taken on many forms. Some lead through vocal encouragement, others through example and consistency. What unites them is a shared emphasis on relationships. Players describe an environment where coaches genuinely care about who they are beyond football, asking about families, checking in on life away from the field, and building trust that extends beyond game day. That trust becomes crucial when the stakes are at their highest, because players know they are supported as people, not just as performers. The emotional balance this week has been striking. There is excitement, of course, and a sense of awe that never fully disappears when you reach a stage like this. But it is tempered by professionalism. Players talk about enjoying the moment without letting it distract them from preparation. They understand that once kickoff arrives, none of the outside noise matters. What matters is execution, communication, and resilience. Several players reflected on how surreal it feels to live out something they once imagined as kids. They spoke about pretending to announce themselves in imaginary Super Bowl introductions, about dreaming of playing under the brightest lights. Now that it is real, the dream has transformed into responsibility. That sense of responsibility is not heavy, but motivating. It reminds them why they started playing the game in the first place. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to Patriots Hub and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our New England Patriots. And don't be shy, share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The New England Patriots may be on the verge of a roster shakeup that could reverberate across the league. Sources close to the team suggest that a list of potential cuts has quietly leaked, pointing to as many as 5 high-profile veterans being told to start exploring other opportunities. According to insiders, the rationale behind these moves goes beyond salary cap concerns. It's about reshaping the locker room and redefining the team's culture under the current leadership. While the Patriots have long been known for blending experienced talent with younger prospects, whispers in league circles indicate that the organization is becoming less tolerant of players who, despite their past contributions, are perceived as misaligned with the new era philosophy. The veterans in question reportedly carry hefty contracts, which makes them even more vulnerable if management believes they don't fit the evolving identity of the team. Analysts are speculating that this is part of a broader strategy to free up cap space and create opportunities for emerging players to step into leadership roles, a pattern that has been hinted at in off-season workouts and team communications. The move has sparked debate among fans and commentators alike. Some argue that letting go of proven talent is risky, potentially sacrificing on-field experience for the sake of culture. Others see it as a bold but necessary step, emphasizing that the Patriots' sustained success has often come from their ability to adapt and reinvent themselves when needed. Names haven't been officially confirmed, but the rumor mill suggests that several longtime starters, who have been cornerstones of the squad in recent seasons, could be on their way out. What's perhaps most intriguing is the language reportedly used by the organization. players were told they don't fit in the new culture. Such phrasing signals a shift that may be less about performance metrics and more about alignment with team philosophy. In a league where locker room dynamics can be as critical as X's and O's on the field, this could mark the beginning of a significant transformation for New England. Fans, analysts, and even potential suitors around the league will be watching closely, trying to decode what the Patriots' next move will mean for both the veterans involved and the team's long-term strategy. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our New England Patriots, be sure to subscribe to Patriots Hub and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.